Good everybody, this is Michael Leveris from JurySQ.com. I'm here with a personal injury attorney, Kevin Attkisson from Attkisson Law Firm in Dayton, Ohio. Kevin, welcome back.
Hi, Michael. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. As you know, we invite different attorneys, different states and practice areas to share their knowledge with us. And today let's talk about car accident case in Dayton, Ohio, or for that matter, anywhere in Ohio. Everybody wants to get maximum compensation for their injuries. Kevin, what do you have to show? What do you have to prove? What are the elements of getting max for your injuries in Dayton, Ohio?
Well, I firmly believe that every injury victim deserves to get maximum compensation. That is fair compensation for what happened to them, okay? And so obviously, if you've been hurt in a car accident, we need to show first and foremost that that car accident was somebody else's fault, okay? Somebody was negligent, they did something wrong in the operation of their motor vehicle. They rear-ended you, they ran a stop sign, they ran a red light, they went left of center. They did something wrong in the operation of their motor vehicle, and they were negligent. And that's the key. We have to allege that the other driver was negligent in the operation of their motor vehicle. That negligence caused an accident, and in turn, as a result of the accident, the person or people inside the vehicle suffered bodily injuries, okay? So that's your basic personal injury case, negligence causing injury, okay? And then the final step is, okay, what happened to you as well? What are your damages, okay? So negligence causing an injury, and then the person has damages. And the damages are where we really come in, okay? We need to make sure that we can prove all of your damages, and it starts with getting appropriate medical care, okay? If that means you have to go from the scene of the accident by ambulance, go. If you don't need to go, don't go. We don't like people to be injured, but if you are injured, we want you to get, and you should get, appropriate medical care. And if that means going by ambulance to the hospital, then do that and get the appropriate treatment. Sure. It's also important not only that you get the right treatment, but that we have evidence in the form of medical records to document what happened to you. Okay, so we use your medical records as evidence of your injuries. Now, also your experience is evidence. You can tell us, you can testify about what happened to you, but then the medical records are also documentation from medical professionals to show us exactly what happened to you. Also, if you're missing time from work, we need to document your lost wages. That is, the doctor needs to say you can't go to work. I need a doctor to say you can't go to work, but then I need obviously a job that you are not going to now, and therefore losing wages. So we document all of this. We get reports from doctors, we get records from doctors, we get off work slips from doctors, and then we get documentation from the employer saying you would have made X number of dollars, but you didn't earn that money because you were unable to come to work because of your physical injuries.
Understood. Kevin, let me ask you, you mentioned medical records. What if you need some kind of an expert to really go over the medical records and draw a conclusion?
Yes.
To show to a jury or insurance company? Do you have access to such experts? And if you do, they're not cheap. Who pays for that?
Absolutely. So sometimes it's evident from the medical records. If it's a relatively self-limiting injury where you're checked out at the hospital and you're ultimately okay, then the records from the hospital are usually sufficient. Unfortunately, a lot of people end up having long-term injuries where they're seeing many doctors and they're going to physical therapy, or maybe they've had surgery and they're having all kinds of different problems and a lot of different doctors. Sometimes we will retain the services of a medical expert to review all of that and possibly do an examination of the injury victim to be able to tell us and to help us understand and explain to the jury and to the insurance company what happened to this person, what is the extent of the injuries, how was all of this medical treatment necessary, and what it means for the future for this person. So we've got medical experts that we use. Again, usually it's your own doctor, maybe your own orthopedic surgeon, but if we've got a lot of different treatment, we have somebody kind of tie it all together for us so that we can have a full understanding from an expert who is used to reviewing medical records, doing physical examinations, and testifying if it comes down to us. And so we retain those services. Now, there's other experts that we use all the time. If we've got, say, a complicated motor vehicle collision, we might need to retain the service of an accident reconstructionist. We have access to investigators and accident reconstructionists and all of that. We also can use the services of, let's say somebody is going to not be able to work for the rest of their life. We have access to vocational experts and what we call economists who will do the math on, let's say somebody is 40 years old and they have another 25 years of work experience, or excuse me, of potential work that they're going to miss out of until retirement age. We hire economists to do that math for us, to say, okay, what would this person be earning over these years? What would the effect of inflation have, and raises over the years? And they do the math on all that, and they are qualified as experts and can testify in court, so that we get a full understanding of not just what has happened, but what's going to happen into the future. Now, you asked me before, who pays for all these? Okay,
yeah, that's a very important question.
We do. We advance money to pay to fund cases. Okay, I understand that most of our clients, well, most of the people in this country are living from paycheck to paycheck. Okay, and it's tough, and that's why. And I'll get into another topic of why we work on a contingency fee. But if I had a client and I expected the client to be able to pay for hiring the experts and all that, we wouldn't get anywhere, and people would be locked out of court because they wouldn't have the experts to come testify, and the insurance companies would win everything. Okay, so we advance the money, we retain the experts, and we make sure that the cases are funded, and that we have the appropriate resources to make sure that we can get the case to trial and get it there competently and get it there with the appropriate experts. Now, also at the same time, we work on what's called a contingency fee. That means that we don't get paid unless and until there's a recovery. Okay, if injury victims had to hire a lawyer and pay them by the hour, okay, and because we can't work for free, okay, but if they had to pay them by the hour, most of my clients couldn't write that check. They couldn't hire. They couldn't, like, say, oh, we got to get a trial. It's going to cost thousands of dollars, but they don't have the. Heck, they're not even working anyways, a lot of them, so they can't pay for anything. So we work on what's called a contingency fee that allows us to work on the case, to go after the insurance companies, to make sure that the person gets appropriate compensation, and that we get paid later for what we've done.
Kevin, you just underscored for me two very important points here. One is experience and resources. It is important that your attorney has both, because you have the experience and the resources to know the right experts that you have described, and sometimes you need a myriad of experts to prove a case, and you have the resources to actually help the client and advance these funds at first to hire these experts, who are not cheap, by the way, and you only get paid in the end, which makes you effectively a partner in your client's case, right? Your interests are aligned. You both maximum recovery for your client.
Absolutely, but I will tell you, my driving focus is to make sure that my client gets compensated. Look, I've said this for years. Look, I don't focus on what my law firm is going to make. I focus on making sure my client is fairly compensated. Look, we're making a living along the way, okay? And I'm very happy doing what I'm doing. But I focus on making sure my client is compensated, and I'm very happy to do that.
Perfect. Okay, Kevin, we appreciate you. Thank you for your time, for explaining to us what are the elements of getting maximum compensation for your car accident injury. We appreciate your time, and we're going to see you next time on the next topic: top 5 things to do after a car crash in Ohio from a legal standpoint. Everybody, thank you for your time. Kevin, we appreciate you, and we're going to see you next time with more questions. And by the way, if anybody has any questions, anybody wants a consultation on their case, do call the phone number on the bottom of the screen. As Kevin has described for us, the consultation is free. Thank you. Have a great day.